Hi there, welcome to Facebook Live. I'm Sara and I'm with Nicola, and we are still catching our breath after last night's unbelievably action-packed episode of Line of Duty. I think it was the biggest cliffhanger yet when it was revealed that Jo Davidson had a DNA match to someone else found on the police database system. So there is a blood relative out there and we don't know who it is. Who are your main suspects, Nicola?
Can I just say, everyone must have rewound. Everyone with a smart telly must have rewound to see who was on that piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then it was just a picture of, that was a picture of her, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
So I thought it was a picture of her. So then I thought, oh, she's got a twin, which I think is going a little bit out there.
Oh my God, that's a whole
other level.
Yeah. I thought that was her. And then he said the person's on the page, the overleaf. So then I thought that was when they turned the page. Because we don't even know if it's a man or a woman, do we? But
no, having said that, I saw a theory that for people who use the subtitles on BBC, it said his identity. But that would be a BBC subtitling glitch.
Or maybe someone that has their own theory that it's... So the most popular theories, and this was this came about from when Jo threw the glass at the picture, and people were thinking the lady in that picture that looked like it might be her mother also looked like John Corbett's mother, who I think we saw in a picture.
Yes. So this is Anne Marie McGillis.
Yeah.
So, and did she have a fling with Hastings? Have I got that right?
Oh, that's right. It was all from back in the Belfast days, was it?
Yeah, that's right. And that's why Hastings felt obliged to help out Steph Corbett with some money. He wanted to look after her.
Yeah, so that could explain that. I mean, if they were siblings, do we think well, they might not be siblings. They could be cousins
or siblings or cousins or something.
Because clearly Corbett had a very strong Liverpool accent, and she's got a Scottish accent. So that would suggest they grew up in different places, whatever. If there's any truth in that, then...
Well, we've had a lot of people thinking, I'm trying to refer to my notes here, that anyone who has ever been on Line of Duty with a Scottish accent is now
which is why lots of people have suggested Tommy Hunter from series 1, and I like that idea because I love the way that all of this is coming back to series 1. A lot of after the whole body in the fridge thing, and obviously there's lots of characters keep popping up. We can't move without series 1. So now that's, I mean Tommy Hunter, but then that would make her related to a bad guy as opposed to a good guy. And
well, this is the big thing. Is the person, is it a criminal or a victim, the person she's related to? Yeah. Are they police or are they not police? I mean, the list that I've written down for suspects for the relative are, it could be that she's related to John Corbett or Tommy Hunter, Derek Hilton, Mike Dryden, Ryan, Jackie Laverty. I mean, the list goes on.
Even Kate. Somebody said Kate. I mean, that would just, but what, Kate wouldn't be on the police computer, would she? Or would she? Just so that they could be... Well,
yeah, she might be. I don't know. People seem to think that Ted Hastings is Big Daddy. He's the dad of everyone. He's Joe's dad.
He was getting around in his youth.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it was John Corbett, at least you'd know that she was sort of doing it because she wanted to try and get some, vengeance for his death or whatever. But what's she doing? What's she playing? And also, she seems to be doing it against her will. So all these messages from H, when she said I'm finished and threw her computer on the floor. Well, what's happening there?
Yeah, I don't think she wants to be involved. I think whatever she's doing it against her will. Yeah. I don't know what they've got over her, but obviously this relative, it's either somebody in her family that she's tried to separate from, like somebody dodgy, or...
Well, unless it is Tommy Hunter, and he's trying to make her do his, she wants to be a straight copper, and he's making her do this. But, you'd think that over the years, relationships like that would come to light. There must be some checking, isn't there?
It's very clever. It's very clever how they brought it round. Somebody's asking, Daniel Bailey is asking, is Jo actually undercover in this whole debacle? Which is another point.
I can't take any more undercovers. It's too many. It just would, in the same way that not every copper can be a bent copper, because there's all these questions now about Chris Lomax and everyone thinking, oh, he's dodgy. It's like, they can't all be dodgy. Otherwise, the police.
Is dodgy, though. He is dodgy. I think.
Yeah. I think it's a bit. I think we've just been trained as viewers to now think that there's something dodgy about everyone, and there have to be some that are just red herrings. And I think he's perfectly all right, old Chris. I mean, I know his name gets thrown in every now and then to say he was at this or he
Yeah.
But then I'm probably completely wrong, and he'll be dodgy as hell.
I don't know if I've ever been right. It's very hard to.
What's your theory on Buckles? Because I'm intrigued by Buckles and whether or not he's a good egg or just an Egypt. Last week we were saying, how has he got to this rank when he's such, he's never done any policing as far as I can. And then it turns out he has done some policing, but possibly not very good policing. How's he been promoted? Or is he a criminal mastermind masquerading as a doofus?
If he is a criminal mastermind, he did an amazing job in that interrogation scene, because I was completely convinced that he had no idea, completely gormless. He didn't know what was going on. He's just a bit of an idiot. And if he is lying, then that is the best bluff I've seen. Yeah. I agree with Steve, who said he couldn't organise the proverbial in a brewery.
Yeah, so, I agreed with Steve. But was it Kate? Who was it that thought that he could be, that's his sort of cover? And
that's what Kate said. I think Kate said that's his cover. She was convinced, she wants to believe that Buckles is bent, because then they've got their man, it's all done, it's all dealt with. But it's definitely not ended, because obviously Buckles was then, we've seen him in jail watching, stop me if I'm wrong, Jimmy
yes,
by Lee Banks. So I think this is Lee Banks that killed him.
Oh, okay. It did look like him. It was a sort of blondish guy. But he the bit where he was pouring the milk in the tea, and that gave us as viewers the knowledge that something bad was about to happen.
Yeah.
If he was faking that, I mean, that was the shakiest hand I've ever seen ever.
Yeah.
So but could he be, like, somebody here is saying Buckles is bent, but he's also being set up. But somebody else, he's going to be the worst of the lot. Do you know what I mean? And he could be, and he could have just, he could have hidden it all under his golf clubs and his and his commendations and his handshake.
And we've also got to ask, what did Jimmy Lakewood, who was the lawyer that was suddenly appeared in episode 4 and then was killed off by the end of it, what did he know? He was on the recording with Gail Vella. Did he say anything to Steve in the van? Did he give him any information, or did he get killed before he could give anything away?
Well, he must have said something, and I was racking my brains afterwards, because the way he said, "I didn't say anything, did I, Steve?" Wink, wink. He was thinking, "Oh my gosh, what did he tell me?" But he must have told him something that he was slightly worried about. Because you actually felt quite sorry for him in the end, even though he's dodgy as hell. But the fact that he said, "I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to go back to prison because they'll know I haven't talked," and they literally approximately 20 seconds.
Yeah, that was on the line of duty bingo, wasn't it? That's very obvious. It's like, he's not going to last for the next 20 minutes, is he? But I think I did feel sorry for him. He mentioned a racist element as well.
Yes. So now, did you wonder whether that was linked? Do you remember, I'm slightly obsessed, as I've mentioned, with series 1, when at the beginning they killed the wrong guy because they went to the wrong house, killed the wrong guy. There was never any big apology, and that's what made Steve then leave and go to
12. Yeah.
And I wonder if it's all connected with that, and she's found out the truth about the fact that and because that unit, that counter-terrorism unit at the time, was headed up by bigwig bloke who's Osborne, who's running the whole, who's literally the head of the thing, isn't he? So
that's
maybe
that
is my theory, because I think it's got to involve him, because we keep seeing clips of him on the telly. The old clips from yesteryear. So I think it's going to involve him, and I think because that's the bad thing that we know he covered up. And that might cover the racism element that was. I didn't really understand that. I mean, I don't think we're supposed to understand yet what the.
No, I think Jed Mercurio, who creates the show, likes to make because obviously AC12 is inspired by a real police anti-corruption group, and we've had Black Lives Matter. It doesn't surprise me that Jed Mercurio might want to bring up a political thing to talk about and to make to put into the drama. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Chris McDonough is asking, who were the women in the picture at the end? I think he means on the form that Hastings turned over, and we said that we thought that was Jo. Yes.
I only looked once. I went back, looked, and thought, oh, that's Jo. And
I paused the TV.
But they made a point of saying, and the person she's related to is on the next page, which made me think that was a picture of her. That was the DNA page for her. And then they were going to, Ted turned it over and saw who it was. So because otherwise they'd know that we'd work it out from that. So I'm pretty sure it was Jo Davidson in that picture, and it wasn't giving anything away. It just made us all rewind our tellies a few times.
Yes, exactly.
To check we weren't missing anything.
Exactly.
I loved that. I loved Ted's reaction to it, and the fact that it's properly, loads of pennies dropping and everyone thinking, oh my God.
Yeah, and they really built it up, didn't they? He really said,
not least because we've just seen him essentially be fired.
I know. What's going to happen to Ted, and also what is going to happen to AC12? This is another comment from Jed in the script, but it's all these cuts to police forces, isn't it? But is AC12 being cut because they want to put the top brass event and they want to keep Ted off the scent and get rid of them?
Well, going with my original theory that it's all coming down from Osborne, he just wants and he's about to be exposed as being a bad un. Then they just don't want anti-corruption anymore, do they? My theory is, yes, there will be a Series 7. Has Jen?
Yeah, I think there is a Series 7.
I don't think he's definitely said, but I think the hints he's dropped, I think, suggest that there might be a Series 7, and that might be the last. That was my impression anyway. And then, we'll have to wait and see.
So just finally, then, who do we think is least likely to make it past episode 5?
I wish it was Ryan Pilkington, but sadly he just gets cockier by the second, doesn't he?
Yeah, he'll have a promotion by the end of episode 5.
He'll be running the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of theories that that Steve is going to. But Steve was such that sniper shot yesterday was so cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cool. It must be bad for his back though. He's going to need a few more painkillers.
Yeah, but I thought, maybe it'll be good for his back. You know how sometimes and go, it's out of, and I don't need any painkillers anymore. Next week, maybe.
Yeah, it was a great sequence, wasn't it? A real action hero, And why do people always poke their heads up just at the wrong moment?
I know. You knew that the girl going over the top was going to get it because they tried and couldn't get a foothold. So oh, poor old Jonesy.
I think Buckles. He better eat his porridge with his eyes open and his ears open in prison because he's in trouble.
He's in trouble. There's so many of them in prison. I mean, what's happened to oh God, I've forgotten her name. The one that was in a relationship with Jo Davidson.
Farida Jatri is there. She's got broken wrist, and I think she's there.
But we haven't. Yeah, she's not that one, was she? So.
Yeah, and of course, Jo had a gun pointed at the back of her head, so she is in danger as well.
She's in danger, and I don't think it looks great for Kate because Ryan Pilkington is knowing that she's. He must know that she's onto him, and
unless they're brother and sister. I mean, that was another theory.
I know, but what Kate would then be related to someone in the OCG, and all this time has been. I just see that would just ruin it for me. I'm not going to believe that any of the main trio are dodgy because I just don't think Jed Mercurio would do that.
No, and we need to have something to hang on to.
There's enough coppers out there, but I think Ted is going nowhere. This whole thing. It looks terrible. He's lost his job, and 90% of funding for anti-corruption is going that won't happen. It
won't happen because there'll be another series. Sharon's asking or saying Corbett was brought up in care, as was Ryan, and was Jo also brought up in care, and is this going to loop back to child abuse?
Oh God, it could do. That's not a bad theory because yeah, they could be related and brought up in care in different parts of the country, hence the different accents. And they're all working together to get Osborne. My theory.
Yes, put the theories up behind you on your suspect board, and
but because if it's Ted, if the person, basically they're trying to get rid of Ted, so it means that the person who wants rid of Ted has to be above him in order to be able to do that. So you've only got Andrea Wise, Sindwani, and Thingy, and Osborne. Haven't you?
You're definitely right. I'm backing you all the way.
I mean, clearly, I don't know anything, but it's got to involve, that those two, Andrea Wise and Sindwani, just both seem hell bent on getting Ted out of the way. But is that coming from above them, and it's all coming from Osborne, who was abusing all those people in care all those years ago?
Because they worked with Jill Bigelow, didn't they? Those top brass. Jill Bigelow was one of the H masterminds, and she worked with them, so it wouldn't surprise me. We'll have to
yeah, definitely. Well, look, next week's episode's got to be interesting because there's so many people that are now in imminent danger, and there's got to be there's so many questions that need answering, and we've only got 3 episodes left. So
I know. Well, let's come back next week and try and figure it out some more.
Okay. All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.